He doesn't have to do too much. I think he's going to learn the system. If he starts knocking down the jump shot and starts being more aggressive, he gets more minutes. And Porzingis wasn't bad. He didn't get to the line as much as in the opener, but 4 of 10 shooting, the 3-point shot was off, and he was getting rebounds and has to stay out of foul trouble. But he had 3 steals last night. But what killed the Knicks, 6 of 29 from the 3-point line. You got 0 of 7 from Carmelo, 0 of 4 from Porzingis, and if you're going to be missing that many threes, especially from your starting forwards, when you play a team like Atlanta, you're not going to win. 407 378 3717. We're going to take a quick break, pay some bills. We'll be right back on the morning tip off here on Spreaker.
Are you looking for a fun experience on the water with your family? Bring them to the Orlando Water Sports Complex, located off Highway 528 near OIA. The Orlando Water Sports Complex provides an experience you won't soon forget, featuring cable wakeboarding, as well as the Super Air Nautique G23, the world's best wakeboarding and wake surfing boat for guests to enjoy. For more info, visit actionparks.com. That's AKTIONPARKS.com. And tell them full.
Listeners, now I know you've heard of this up-and-coming brand Hoop Culture, which is headquartered right here in Orlando, Florida. But here's something that you didn't know. They are opening a flagship store in Fashion Square Mall, downstairs right in front of the movie theater. That's right, the brand that has brought you the iconic Eat Sleep Ball design is bringing their streetwear brand to retail. Stay ahead of the fashion trends. Go visit them online at hoopculture.com or follow them at Hoop Culture. Our listeners save 30% off your next order. Use the code RADIO at checkout.
Welcome to Late Night Parents. I'm your host, Ted Hicks. We have a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk with game changers in the sports, technology, education fields. We even do product reviews and giveaways. Why, you ask? Because we're all parents. So if you're ready for an up-close and personal look, then you can check out our podcast. New episodes are available every Thursday. Catch us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. That's Late Night Parents. The site is latenightparents.com.
Looking to expand your reach and following in all platforms of media? Need a jumpstart in expanding your brand to all markets across the world? Sofo is here for you. Sofo means something for everyone, and they help expand your business through all platforms of media. Need to grow on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram? Their experienced team expands your brand and puts your business in places you would have never been before. Call Sofo at 407-607-9862 or follow Sofo LLC on Instagram.
We are back for the morning tip-off on Spreaker. 407-378-3717 is the number to dial in and talk to us this morning. Tonight, 12 games are on the schedule. So many good and fun matchups. We're going to start with the ESPN game at 7 p.m. The Miami Heat taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron James and company's home opener. And, of course, they're playing the Heat. But remember, this was the place where Chris Bosh played his last regular season game before the blood clot happened. And of course, you have all the storylines of Wade, LeBron, Bosh, and all those guys. The big three. You have all those storylines going back that. But this Heat game is completely different this time around, especially with the way the Heat, are built. This is an early season Eastern Conference Finals preview, in my opinion. You have the Heat, who are stacked top to bottom, in their starting lineup. Dragic, Wade, Bosh, Whiteside, Ding, the deep bench against Cleveland. Now, they are missing Kyrie, but you still have Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, Mo Williams. You still have a lot of good players in this game. And so I really want to see even though LeBron's had the back issues, how much LeBron takes stock in this game. I think, honestly, LeBron is going to show out, and I think the Cavs should win this game, even though they're missing a lot of players. Down here in Orlando, you have the Thunder taking on the Magic. Another storyline behind this game is Billy Donovan returning to Orlando. You're like, okay, why does it matter? Billy Donovan, at one point, was the head coach of the Orlando Magic, for those who don't remember. It might have lasted about 24 hours, but he had signed on to take the head coach job. And unfortunately, he decided, well, not unfortunately, but in Billy's case, he went back to the University of Florida after having a change of heart. And it kind of spurred Magic fans a little bit salty, a little bit. So the Magic, coming off a close loss to Washington, take on now the best duo in the NBA of Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook at Amway Center at 7 p.m. Utah and Philadelphia open up their season in Philly's home opener tonight. The Jazz struggled against the Pistons and falling short, and we all know about the Sixers getting beat up pretty badly by the Celtics and Isaiah Thomas on Wednesday night. Now, in this game, the key matchup is Rudy Gobert going to do against Jahlil Okafor. Okafor, impressive 26 points in his first game. Gobert, a defensive player of the year candidate by a lot of people. It's going to be an interesting matchup because really, if the Sixers can't get him going, Okafor going, this is going to be a long night. I like Alec Burks coming off the bench. Trey Burke. This could be one of those games where Utah can probably blow out the Sixers. I want to see if the Sixers can find some kind of scoring other than Okafor. Can Hollis Thompson find a jump shot? Can Isaiah Cannon do something? I heard Nick Stauskas, who they acquired in the offseason, might get a few minutes here. So somebody from Philadelphia has to step up because they're missing so many players. No Robert Covington, no Tony Roden. They're missing guys that's supposed to be contributors on this team, and they're not available tonight either. Other games early, you have the Toronto Raptors at 1-0 taking on the 1-0 Boston Celtics. These are two teams that should be in the playoffs, and in Toronto's case, Jonas Valanciunas in an impressive opening night for him, 21-15. We all know about the Toronto backcourt. They added DeMarre Carroll. In this game, there are a lot of similarities. Both teams are very deep. The Celtics played 11 guys, I think 10 minutes plus on the opening night. They used Jared Sullinger, a guy we didn't see much last year. Of course, Isaiah Thomas, Evan Turner. They had the backcourt of Smart and Avery Bradley. There's so many guys the Celtics can throw at you, and I hadn't even mentioned Jay Crowder. I haven't mentioned David Lee. I haven't mentioned Amir Johnson. They are so stacked. Olynyk, Ty Zeller. The Celtics can use so many different combinations. It's interesting to see how Brad Stevens can get all these guys together going forward, but it's fun to watch. Now, the Raptors, they have some pretty solid depth, but I think the key is what the Raptors bench is going to do. If they can get some contributions out of Bismack Biyombo on the defensive end and keep Isaiah Thomas out of the paint and not let him get off early. And so if that would be the case, the Raptors have enough strength with DeRozan and Kyle Lowry to really win this game tonight. But it's going to be very interesting to watch what goes on in this game. You have the Bulls and the Pistons going on at 7:30 in Detroit tonight. Bulls, after their impressive opening night victory against the Cavs, and then you have the Pistons, who were just even more impressive when they beat the Hawks on the road, playing a key game in Detroit on Friday night. The Pistons, and actually the Bulls are 2-0. Sorry, the Bulls are 2-0. The Pistons are 1-0. Bulls in both games look completely different. In game one, they were more perimeter oriented. Gasol didn't do very much. In game two, they went more towards Gasol, and the Bulls' depth looks very solid. And also, them bringing in Mirotic is making Fred Hoiberg look very, very bright as a first-year head coach. And really, I want to see in this game what Jimmy Butler is going to do with Kendrell Octavius Pope. Pope has been actually shooting the ball consistently in the first two games. We all know Butler is the best defender in Chicago. I'm thinking they're going to use more of Butler on KCP. And if that's what's going to happen, I would like to see if Stan Van Gundy uses Stanley Johnson a little bit more than Marcus Morris. Even though Morris is playing the best basketball of his career in the first two games, Ilyasova should be able to stretch out with Mirotic, kind of the same player, and that will leave Gasol one-on-one with Drummond. Now, Drummond doesn't have a lot of post moves, but Drummond is way more athletic than Gasol. I expect to see a lot more Joakim Noah tonight because of the defensive presence and Noah's rebounding ability. So the Bulls might use Mirotic at the three a little bit more tonight than normal because you can't let Mirotic's three-point shooting not be on the floor. I expect to see Doug McDermott play a little bit more, Tony Snell. As far as the Bulls winning this game is tonight, it's a good possibility. But I do like the Bulls. I like the Pistons' chances if Reggie Jackson shows a lot of aggressiveness on Derrick Rose in the beginning of the game, and take it to Rose early. If he takes it to Rose early and the Pistons can get some shots knocked down, Ilyasova, Morris, if those guys, a guy who hasn't done much, Jody Meeks, if they can get those three guys knocking down shots and clearing out the lane for Dre Drummond, the Pistons can be 2-0 at the end of this game tonight. But if the Bulls end up 3-0, you're going to start thinking in Chicago they're the best team in the Eastern Conference already. In Atlanta, the 0-1 Charlotte Hornets take on the 1-1 Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are the second of a back-to-back. Like we all talked about the Hawks earlier. Impressive last night against the Knicks. The Hornets didn't look too impressive in the second half, especially in Miami on Wednesday night. They got to find somebody to hit shots. This has been a problem in Charlotte for years. Guys cannot hit shots. Jefferson was great in the first half. 17 points. He was working Whiteside, working Haslam, but Steve Clifford decided to go more perimeter in the second half, and Kemba Walker, Nick Batum were not hitting shots, and this has been a problem. This is where P.J. Harrison, who was a good shooter in college, should step right in, but Harrison still can't find a jump shot either. If those three guys can start hitting shots, because you're going to have to match whatever Kyle Korver and the Hawks perimeter guys do, especially Horford can hit the three-point shot. Millsap is not going to be missing too many shots very often. We all know about Korver. Teague, solid. Kent Bazemore. Guys can hit shots in Atlanta. Charlotte can't. And I think this is going to be the problem. If Charlotte keeps the game ugly and defensive-oriented, they got a shot at it. But if the Hawks start running and Coach Bud takes his running off them, let him run like he did last night, then Charlotte's in deep, deep trouble tonight, especially on the road. In Milwaukee, Washington takes on the Bucks. The Bucks should be in a different state of mind after being blown out in their home opener. A lot of adjustments to be made. But the good thing with Jason Kidd is that Kidd's good with adjustments, and also he plays positionless basketball. I don't think the flat effort will come out again, but I do think there'll be some more strengths from the Bucks that we didn't see. And the Wizards didn't look overly impressive, even though John Wall and Brad Beal played well. The rest of the team did not play well in the opener against Orlando. What I expect to see tonight is a much more interior-based game, especially the Wizards using a lot more of Gortat, a lot more of Nene. I think Otto Porter plays a better game. Wall is going to be Wall. I think Beal's going to hit more the shots the way he was doing. This game is going to be a much more tighter affair, especially the Bucks in. I like the Wizards tonight, especially if Giannis doesn't go tonight. Now, if Giannis goes and is able to play, OJ Mayo plays tonight, then you're looking at a different game because Giannis changes the way the game is played. Because Giannis can play a whole bunch of different positions, and at the same time, it allows Chris Middleton to go back to his two-guard role and let Giannis play the three. You'll see a little bit more Johnny O'Brien at the four. Not much of a difference maker. But the rotations change because now you're allowed to use Vasquez and Bayless as high-powered guards off the bench instead of using Bayless as a starting two-guard, which he's not really equipped to do that. 407-378-3717 is the number to call in. Talk with us this morning. Going forward, 8:30 tonight, Brooklyn takes on the Spurs. The Spurs struggled. They didn't really struggle. They just got beat